Hello everybody, this is Simon Ward, your official Outlaw coach, and the big weekend is almost upon us. Just a few days left now till we all convene at home Pierpont, ready for the start of the 2017 Outlaw Triathlon on Sunday morning. And I have a few last minute tips for you, mainly concerning Friday, Saturday and Sunday morning before the gun goes off. So hopefully you can see these without too much reflection. I'm going to try and use modern technology. So looking at Friday to start with. The first thing, Friday's always a good day for me to do minimal or light training. Okay, so or no training. In fact, I tend to pick Friday as my day when I do no training, and that's because I do the following. I use it as a day when I reduce the fruit and fibre content in my diet, and I increase the starchy carbohydrates. And the fact that I'm doing no training means that I can concentrate fully on carb loading. So no need to go into a full carb loading practice for days before. The drop in training will help you to increase your carbs anyway, and just to make sure everything's topped up. Friday, you eat more starchy carbs, you reduce the fruit and the fibre and the veg, because that's the sort of thing that gives you a runny tummy on race morning, and anything we can do to prevent that is a positive. So reduce that, increase the starchy carbs. Now, on a day of no training, you're probably going to feel a bit jittery, so there's some other stuff you could be doing. I generally put my race kit together, make a list, get it all out in piles, ready to pack before I leave for the venue. So I do that first. Everything's double and triple checked to make sure I don't forget anything. The next thing, double check the race information. Okay, I noticed today that they've changed things. They've put it nearer the top of the list. It's called final race information. Actually, the data inside it is very similar, but one of the things that you may not be familiar with, and I don't know if you can actually see that on the screen in the dark blue, but this is the hyperlink for the final race information. Please make sure you go and read that. I have reports from people who were at Ironman UK last week talking to other competitors who weren't sure what time the race started, where they had to be to get the bus to get up from Bolton, etc, etc. Right? Don't be that person. Make sure you've read this and you know exactly what's coming on Saturday and Sunday. It's up to you to be at the right place at the right time, not the organisers. Right? So please don't be the one person who's having to ask where they go. And if you want to avoid annoying people like me and everybody else, don't use Facebook to do it. Right? Don't be lazy. Log on, download the right information and get the exact detail that's printed out, not what somebody on Facebook thinks might be the right time, because they may be wrong as well. Alright, sorry about that. That's a rant, and that's in another video I'm doing today. Okay, so we've done all that on Saturday. Now, just before we go on Saturday, my preference would be for travelling to Nottingham on the Friday, getting there in good time and having a stress-free Saturday. Yours may not be that for many reasons. You may have work and other things that restrict you. So Saturday morning, it's obviously going to be a day for travelling. Personally, I'd be getting my bike and my run, if I was going to do anything on Saturday, out of the way very early on. So I would train early. If you want to swim, then at home Pierpont, we have 2 swim sessions that you can access. Okay, first one, 11:15. It's half an hour long, so 11:15 till 11:45. It's an opportunity for you to just get in, find out where the swim starts are, have a look at the course close hand if you haven't done that before. If you've been to do the Outlaw half and in previous years, then you will probably know the layout. But again, please make sure that you look at the pre-race information, because there's been a slight change to the exit for the swim. It's not down at the far end anymore. It is just after the tower. Okay, all will be revealed in the briefing, but if you've read it in advance, you'll be a little calmer. There's also a swim practice at 12:15 to 12:45, so there's 2 there if you can't get there for the early one. Alright, now, if you haven't got there on the Friday, then you need to register before you can rack, so make sure that's one of your first jobs when you get to the venue. Okay, the marquees on the grass outside the front of the building will be the place for you to do that, and it'll be clearly marked and there'll be a big queue. Okay, the next thing you need to do attend one race briefing. We have 4. You don't need to attend all 4, but you do need to attend one. It would be sensible, just in case you miss something, and there's always one person who doesn't turn up and then forgets about something. Okay, so 11 AM, 12:30, 2 PM, 3:30. I'll be in each of those briefings with Ian. Hopefully we'll give you all the information you need exactly for race day in approximately 45 minutes. So I hope to see you at one of those. All right, next thing, pack your race bag. So if you haven't already done this before you leave home, go back to your venue, pack your race bags into the right colour bags, and then get ready to take them down to do the next job, which is racking your bike. So you can do that between the hours of 11 AM and 5 PM. So even if you're in the final race briefing at 3:30, we should be finished by 4:15 to 4:30 at the latest. There's still 30 minutes for you to rack. You will need to bring your bike, obviously, because you have to rack your bike the night before, not on race morning. There's always, last year I think there was one person who tried to rack on race morning. Again, don't let it be you. Number 2, you need to bring your transition bags. And 3, you need to bring your helmet. Helmets will be in the transition bags. You won't be able to put them on your bike. But again, we'll tell you all that in the briefing on Saturday, and you can ask questions there. Okay, now, in between all of these tasks that you have to do, a little bit of training, walking from the car parking to the venue, going to register, going to the briefing, and going to rack your bike. My advice is to stay off your feet as much as possible. So if you're with your friends and they suggest that you go into Nottingham and do a bit of sightseeing or some shopping, politely decline and offer to do it on Monday. The active recovery will help. Also, stay hydrated. It gets quite warm in the briefing tent with 300 people in there. We will have the Erdinger guys on site for you to participate in consuming their alcohol-free lager, which is a perfect hydration tool. But if not, and you don't like that, then bring your own fluids, and don't just drink water, have some salts in there as well. Okay, now that's it for Saturday. But some final advice for Sunday. This is something that I do. I like to have a race day timetable. Yes, it starts with the race and it goes down the page to the very first thing you do in the morning. The reason for that is you need to work backwards from the timings to find out when this first thing happens here. And I have this, and when I wake up in the morning, it's the last thing I write before I go to bed. When I wake up in the morning, I just start looking at this list and I go through each task and tick them off, and it focuses my mind on what's on here and not what's to come in a few hours' time. So, for instance, I'll have worked out that I need to wake up at 3:30, do my final kit check at 4, travel to Home Pierpont if I was staying somewhere not on site, and that might be 10 or 15 minutes. Obviously, you need to amend it for your particular situation. It'll take, let's say it takes 15 minutes. You're going to need to park your car, and there will be lots of people turning up, not just athletes, but spectators and volunteers. So make sure you allow plenty of time for that. The last thing you want is to be stuck in a queue. You're then going to have to walk to transition. When you get to transition, go around, check everything. Put your fuel and your nutrition onto your bike. Check your tyres. My personal advice is not to let your tyres down the day before. Okay, controversial I know, but I don't think that there's any reason why you should. All right, so, but do check your tyres the next morning. Check your bike, make sure nobody's knocked it and damaged anything. Check it's in the right gear for leaving transition. Check the exits and entries to transition from the swim and the bike, and where your bike is in relation to everything else. Go and do your personal admin if you haven't done it already. There will be long queues to the toilet, so if you're intending to get towards the front of the queue, when you get your wetsuit on and go for a swim warm-up, then you need to make sure you've done all this stuff first. I'm not sure of the exact time we're going to be calling you into transition, but let's say it's 5:45. That'll be the time when you get in and get your swim. So warm-up. So if it was me, I'd be making sure I was at the front of the queue, so then I could get over to the bay where I was going to start, and I would get in straight away and start my warm-up, so that at around 10 to or 5 to, I'd be able to get into the right position, and then I will be ready for the race start, which will be promptly at 6 AM. And finally, I did say don't let it be you, but there's always somebody rushing to get here for 6 AM for the start. Ridiculous. There'll be plenty of warnings. Don't let it be you. All right, finally then, on Sunday even, not Saturday, on Sunday morning, just 4 things for you to remember to do once the gun goes off. Hopefully you have a plan. Your plan is based on your pacing and what you can do. Stick to it. Don't be derailed. That's the best and most efficient way to get to the finish line. Trust your fitness. Okay, you've done enough to get to the end. You have. Trust me, trust your fitness, trust your body. Don't forget to have fun and smile. 2 of the most memorable British triathletes that we all love, Chrissie Wellington and hopefully one person who may even be there on Sunday, Lucy Gossage, are well known for the fact that they smile throughout the race. It gives you a lot of energy, it makes you feel better about yourself, and it gives lots of people encouragement and energy. So smile throughout the day. Say thank you to the volunteers, please. They put a lot of time and effort into making sure you have a great race, and you will have a great race. Oh, and one final thing. We've got a perfect timing system. It's German, it's precision engineered, and it will give you a better time than you can manage by doing your own timekeeping using those little things on your wrist. So when you come down the finishing chute on the red carpet and you're approaching the finish line, we have lots of photographers there. Please do not do the Garmin finish line celebration, which is basically when everybody looks down and presses the Garmin and doesn't look up and smile at the camera. All right, so that's my plan on how to have a great lead into and a great day on Sunday. All that remains for me now is to wish you all the best for the next couple of days. Don't overdo it, and see you at the finish line. Bye for now.